19. Will you need the de-ice today?
We will need the de-ice. I apologize for that.
No problem. After they push you back, give me a call back, and you can plan the limit path.
We'll do it.
Jet 457, Roger, runway 35, taxi via Kilo.
Connected to PilotEdge.
Transupper 2493, spot 5, taxi Oscar to de-ice.
So 2493, Roger. Up to hold short of runway 34 right at taxiway Hotel 6.
Up to hold short 34 right at Hotel 6, Southwest 2493.
So 2493, Oscar is good, and then monitor tower 19.05 for the de-ice frequency, or to get you in the de-ice.
Monitor tower 1905, hold short at Hotel 6, Southwest 2493.
4399, solid ground, right, taxi to the hotel to the gate. That's 4644 ground, where are you parking?
Grand Delta 2243 is clearing, joining hotel.
Okay, I'm sorry, what's that call sign at Hotel 5?
That was Delta 2243, joining hotel.
Alright, Gulf Coast 89, roger, taxi to attack here. Delta 2243 ground, where are you parking?
Bravo, taxi.
Just your 307 on, I'll call you back in a minute. Delta 2243, where are you parking?
Delta 2243, gate Delta 3.
Hello everyone. So this is a Payware Idaho Falls, and I also be flying into Payware Mr. X Salt Lake. However, he's going through a upgrade process. I was hoping it'd be ready by now, but it's still being worked on. But the new Salt Lake is going to be awesome when he's done with it. So, but this is an FS Economy flight with the Epic. This is, this is made by Turbulent Designs, I think. And it's pretty nice airport. So it's all custom. So today I'm going to do a bit of a lesson to the best of my ability. Got to remember that I'm not a real world certified pilot. However, I do a ton of reading and a lot of research and a lot of just straight up learning. There's some wind farm out there. That's cool. So today we're going to be discussing flight plans. And the flight plan would be from, because it's snowing like crazy in Salt Lake, and the weather is such even here that it's not really good for VFR flying. So naturally the fastest route would be straight line point A to point B, which would be a VFR for FS Economy, but I'm not going to be able to get away with that today. So I'm going to go ahead and discuss flight planning. So first thing is lots of people use FlightAware. They also use SimBrief. So if you were to use this system, Idaho Falls, Salt Lake, and then if you were to click on SkyWest, and then come down to this flight plan, in most cases that will work. But that's not going to work, because you look at the Skis 5, right? That's the star that this airplane is using. But you can't use the Skis 5 if you're in a GA aircraft, or in my case, a turboprop. I'll show you why. Turbojet aircraft only, right? We're not a turbojet, we are a turboprop. So this star is only good for basically airliners and freight, any commercial that is a jet. Like if I was going to fly my Eclipse 550, I could use that, because the Eclipse 550, even though it's a very small business jet, is still a turbojet. And in most cases, turbojets will be able to handle any of the speeds that are listed on a star. So that's why. And then these altitudes and everything are mainly geared for turbojets. So that is not going to work. So then I had to go to Salt Lake, and you look up, I'll just go right to it. So the Bear 5, okay, you compare that with the skis. It's essentially the same thing, except this is for everything other than turbojet. So you always have to look at your notes to make sure you're allowed to fly it. So we're going to fly the same thing, Pocatello, whatever, join the Bear 5 arrival into Salt Lake. So landing north, like the Bear 5 has this instruction. So cross Diane at or above 1000. So that's what that line means. If the line is underneath, you got to be above. So that's 11,000. So we're going to come down. We're going to do this transition. See, these endpoints are transitions. They're basically an initial approach fix for a star. So we're going to be doing the Pocatello transition. So we're going to be on radio 150 from here. So these are all VORs, basically, to Bear. So you're going to follow this route. And then we're going to be landing north probably, because the winds are howling out of the north, which would be good tailwind for us. But anyway, so we have to cross Diane at or above 11,000. And then we'll fly a course heading, a heading of 160. Well, we will at that point get vectors for, it's going to be the LDA 3.5, just because we're going to be landing on the GA side of the field, which is here. And 3.5 only has a LDA, which is the reverse course of the ILS going the other way. But, so that worked. So that's the difference between a star. Now, as the stream title says, ODP, if you want to learn about an ODP. So here's the thing with Idaho Falls. There is no departure. It's all instrument approaches. So when there's no departures, no SID, then you have to go to the Idaho Falls Regional and you can look at the chart supplement for any airport remarks. But what you need to do is go to takeoff minimums. You click on that and then just do a search for IDA, and we're going to go through until we come across, there we go, Idaho Falls. So this is an ODP, which is an obstacle departure procedure. So what you need to look for is departure procedure, those two words, they're all in caps. So if you're going to file an IFR, the runway that you'll be using has to have a departure procedure. If it does not have a departure procedure, then the only way you can leave the airport is by VFR essentially, and then you can get your IFR in the air. But to use an IFR on the ground, you have to have a departure procedure of some sort. In some cases, there won't be any. In some cases, only restricted to maybe one or two runways would have a departure procedure. So if the winds are not favoring the runway that has a departure procedure, then at the same time, you'd have to fly VFR until you're high enough to get your radar services. But in this case, I use either 3 or 2121. And we're going to be probably using 3 because the winds are basically out of the north. So we got Oh, there it is. So the winds are out of the north. So we're going to do runway 3. So we'll be departing. What this means is any aircraft departing 210 clockwise to 040, you can climb on course. All right, so 210, if you go to World VFR and you go in here, you'll see the sundial, as I call it. You know, you have, this is 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. So these are the VOR radials, basically. So 0, 2, 0, I think it said. 210 to 040, 210. So this is 210 to 040. So if our direction of flight was between 210 and 040, which is here. So if we were going to depart anywhere within that arc, so if we were going to go this way to the northwest, then we wouldn't have to really worry about the MEA. It's just climb on course. All others, climbing left turn direct to the Idaho Falls VOR, and then you continue and climb within the Idaho Falls VOR DME holding pattern. And then you have to look at the hold. So it's a south hold, inbound 019, inbound to Idaho Falls. To cross Idaho Falls VOR at or above your MEA for route of flight. Well, our route of flight is Victor 21, with Idaho Falls being the first one. So I picked Idaho Falls as the first waypoint on the IFR because this procedure uses the Idaho Falls VOR as the first waypoint. So if the procedure has the VOR listed, then you have to, for an IFR clearance, put it in your flight plan. So Idaho Falls to Victor 21. So then you look at Victor 21. What's the MEA? Well, 7,000 feet. Shows right here for Victor 21. So what we're going to do is we're going to take off runway 3. And it will be climbing a left turn because it's left traffic for 3. And then we'll continue the left turn because it'll be a hold. Left turn, 019 inbound to cross the Idaho Falls. For us would be 7,000. So we're going to take off, do a left turn for a left downwind departure. And then we'll come back and we'll intercept the 019 radial inbound. And we'll keep circling within the pattern up to 7,000 feet. So when we get to 7,000 feet at Idaho Falls, then we will come back around. I'll probably will extend the northerly track a little bit, come back around, and then pick up anything above 7,000 feet from Idaho Falls, and we'll pick up Victor 21 to this VOR, which is Pocatello or whatever. And then we'll just keep climbing at that point, because once you reach your MEA at 7,000, then you can continue to climb while en route. Now, if we were going to take off runway 21, it'd be a little bit different. So runway 21, you climb on course for 210 to 020, but we're not because Victor 21 is the reciprocal of 020, whatever the heck that is. It's not within the climb on course. It's like a couple degrees less. But anyway, the difference is on 21, you climb right turn direct to the VOR. So you're going to kind of do like a circle 8. So it would be right turn. So you would do a right turn, and then you would cross over the VOR. Then you come back out. You kind of do like a circle 8, and then you would climb in course, doing it this way until the same thing. So 2-1, 2-1, you take off with a right turn, and then you kind of do a circle 8, come back, and then you climb in pattern. And that's because of these mountain ridge right here. So it's a safety thing because of these mountains. So that's why you climb. That's why this has an ODP. That's what this is called. It's a departure procedure. A lot of times all you have is obstacle notes. So this is the main 2 words, departure procedure. So that's the only reason I'll be able to get an IFR hold at the airport, is because this has a departure procedure. So I'll leave all this up in case anybody has any questions. Once I'm at cruise, we can go over it again, and so on. But for us, we're going to use runway 3. So that one's just basically left turn until we reach 7,000. And then it will be, I'll extend it a little bit, we'll come back out, and then come back for 7,000 feet. All right, so now we're at Idaho Falls. Let's get this party started. Come on down to our Epic, and I need, how much fuel? 152. It's at 76. I'll reset that. So we'll do X economy. M9, how you doing there, bud? Appreciate you dropping by. All right, so let's do log in, get the passengers boarded, and then reset the weight. So we got all the people in there. All loaded up. Let's remove the statics. Ginnigans is here too. I've been using the FAA charts too since I learned from Keith, but departure procedures are on the... Yes, you are correct, Ginnigans. Everything I just went over, that ODP, is on Navigraph charts, but I like to teach what I've learned. I learned it from Keith, so I probably watched the same, whatever those instruction seminars that he has on YouTube, but I learned it from him. But the reason I didn't want to teach it on the Navigraph Jepson charts is because you have to have a subscription. So not everybody has a subscription, so I wanted to show how you can actually get the ODP if you don't have a Navigraph subscription. But you're absolutely correct. They are on the bottom of the airport information. So it's like a quick reference to look at the Jepson charts. But yeah, so that's why I did it that way. But yeah, everything I learned that I just taught you is, or that I taught or try to teach rather, is what I learned from Keith's stuff. So I think I'm right. If I'm not, let me know. All right, so we got 77. 77. So 154, does that match? Okay. Let's connect the ground power unit. Get some lights in here. Do battery 1, battery 2, avionics. Come here and do nav light. I do use Navigraph Ginnigans. I just I'm so used to reading the charts from SkyVector that I find it easier, at least for me, because I learned on those charts. So I just find it easier to brief, you know, the flight plans, and I use the Jepson charts also. But for actual procedures, I personally find it easier to use the SkyVector ones, whatever the word or the, you know, whatever they're called. All right, what do we got for AWAS here? 135.32. 135.32. And I need to turn on the mic.
Idaho Falls Regal Information mic.
29.
1900 Zulu weather.
74.
340 at 13. Visibility more than 10. Sky conditions 10,000 overcast. 29,000 overcast. Temperature 1. Dew point -1.
Winds are 340.
Altimeter 2974. Arriving runways 02.
So I'm going to put COM 2 on guard,
20,
121.5 on guard.
Advise on
And then this place has CTAF 18.5. So to talk to other people on the ground, we'll be using Idaho Falls tower frequency. And then we'll pretend that 122.2 frequency on PilotEdge simulates using a landline to call in a IFR clearance. So that's how PilotEdge simulates. This is a non-towered field for PilotEdge. So you got to use simulated landline. So as long as you're sitting still, this frequency that I'm on right now works.
170 vector to the left.
But anything over 30 knots, this frequency will not work anymore. All right, so I'm at. So then when you dial in the 122.2, like I am right now, right here, you use whatever the lowest overlying TRACON or center is. So in this case, we don't have an approach, or at least a controlled approach by PilotEdge. We have a Salt Lake Center. So unless this dude corrects me, which is very possible, I'm going to title it as, Salt Lake Center when I call it in.
That was 2349, roger, enter the left downwind runway 34 left, advise turning base. Yeah, no kidding, huh? You've been on here longer than me.
Once I can get in here. Afternoon, Salt Lake Center, Epic 1399er on the ground at Idaho Falls with weather. IFR, Salt Lake. Actually, I don't think I filed an IFR yet. Disregard.
All right. And there was 2 aircraft calling. I got the one at Idaho Falls. Who was the other?
All right, I need to file. So.
What did you, Juliet Papa? Go ahead.
So I did. So this is Bears 5. So I already put it in here.
122 Juliet Papa, climb and maintain 12000.
And I forgot to file it. That's why I got ahead of myself. Usually I file this first thing, but I wanted to do the instruction of the ODP first, and I forgot.
Delta 145, turn right heading 010, vectors to the localizer. Descend and maintain 6000.
And that's super slow. So I'll come down here, do PilotEdge, flying the runway ODP. Okay, so we're slant off for GPS, and I'll leave that blank. So we'll file that. So now I'll be ready. Salt Lake Center, Epic 1399er, Idaho Falls, IFAR, Salt Lake.
Number 1399 is clear from the Idaho Falls Airport to the Salt Lake City Airport. That's filed. Departure maintained 2000. Expect flight level 230, 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency will be Salt Lake Center 133.25, squawk 2424. Hold for release.
Clear to Salt Lake as filed. Climb maintain 2000. Expect flight level 230, 10 minutes after departure. Departure with Salt Lake 133.25, squawk 2424, and hold for release 1399.
1399, read back correct.
So since this is a non-towered airfield,
November 516 Delta Mike, contact
I'm going to
exact tower
switch to the
119.5.
CTAF. Since this is a non-towered airfield, you have to, or he will do hold for release. So that basically means he's locked down this airport. No one is allowed to take off or land under an IFR clearance. So anyone that wants to land here that's under IFR flight rules right now has to wait until he releases my IFR clearance. So I know this plane only takes a few minutes to set up, so I didn't care about getting the clearance right now, but basically because of me, this entire airfield is locked down. No one's allowed to leave, no one's allowed to land unless they're doing so under VFR rules. So you can land and take off VFR here, but if you try to land IFR, if someone's coming here IFR and they ask for clearance to land, they're going to deny them because I've got a IFR hold in place. So that's what that means. All right, so let's come down here and we're going to do flight plan, menu, delete, and I want come on. Really? IDA North. Yeah, let's put that in there. And then we'll do menu. We're going to load an airway. And it's Victor 21. And that's going to let us out at PIH. So we'll load that. And then from there, we're going to pick up the star from Salt Lake. So Salt SLC. And then we'll do a procedure, and we're going to do an arrival. And it's going to be the Bears for a 3-5 arrival from PIH. So we'll load that. So that should have combined PIH. Let me make sure that is correct. PIH MLD to Teals to Bear, and then Dion Vector, and then we'll enter the I'll just do the approach So it would be the LDA, LDA 3.5, and let's see if there's an extended center line or something on that. LDA, I could do humid, basically an extended center line. And we'll do biro on for the LDA is 4474. I'll read what you wrote there in just a second, M9. After all this spinning of the mouse, I should probably just, you know what? These keys don't work, I don't think. I don't want to mess it up now. I got too far, 4474. So I'll knock it up to 80. So I'm just going to load it. And then we got flight plan. We'll come all the way back to where we are. M9 says, actually I had this problem not too long ago in real life. I called for clearance. They said I would have to wait 15 minutes for inbound IFR traffic. They offered up depart VFR immediate and call them in the air for my clearance. Worked out well for all around. Of course, it was VFR conditions, so no issues with VFR departures. Yeah, so it's kind of like a D move to lock down an airport like I'm doing, but I mean, it's PilotEdge. You know what I mean? Like, if this was real life, I wouldn't lock down the entire airport because, like you said, no one's allowed to land or take off IFR. But, you know, if I heard someone on the radio or trying to land here, then I would just tell them, you know, go ahead and let them land. I'll pick up the IFR again. But, so if I want to fly in Class Alpha airspace, which is what I want to do, flight level 230, you have to have IFR, right? So let's say it's bad weather in Salt Lake, but it's nice and sunny here. Well, the nice thing to do would just be to take off VFR, like you said, and then once I'm in the air, then pick up the IFR clearance once I'm at like 15, 16,000 feet or so. And then once I'm cleared the IFR, then I'll climb into the Class Alpha airspace. So that's what I normally do. But since it is overcast and it won't take too much longer, that's why I have a hold in place. But yeah, it's better to not even get the hold until you're ready to taxi. That's the best time to call for your IFR, right before taxi. All right, so we're gonna transponder is 2424. Hey, thanks, bud, for the 3-month subscription. It's very nice, very kind of you. Appreciate the support. And let's do standby for now. And then autopilot. So where is the height on this thing? Oh, here it is. So we're cleared to 12,000. We're gonna vertical speed up to 2,000 feet per minute. And we're gonna do heading. And I'm gonna program in the LDA while I'm sitting here. So the LDA for Salt Lake 3.5 is 1115. So 1115. Put that in nav. Whoops. Get that set up, and then so that course is 344. And then for nav 2, I want to do the I need to do this procedure climb in pattern thing. So I need the Idaho Falls VOR frequency, which is 113.85. $113.85. So now it comes up identified as Idaho Falls, except let's go to VOR2, and it's going to be a 019 inbound for course, and we're going to take off 030. So that's pretty much set. We have to use Loc 2, VOR2 for taking off to climb in there. Hold for inbound. Subscribe. Oh, I see. Alright, so is this autopilot done then? So we got heading, altitude is armed, VS 2000, so that's good. So let's remove the ground power unit. And we'll turn on the beacon. Make sure we're on the fuel tank. And get all that set. Fuel cutoff. Everything is set. We're on the left tank. We'll turn on the left and right starter gen. Fuel cutoff. Prop. Oh, I need a prop full. And then engine. So we do starter for 10, ignite at, start till 10, then ignite, then add fuel at 15. So we do start until 10 right here. And then there's 10, so we hit igniter. And then at 15, I'll add fuel. So it's low idle on the fuel. ITT is always going to do a hot start on this, but as long as it's only for like 5 seconds or so, it's fine. It's normal for this plane from what I have found out in the forums, because the TBM doesn't do that, but this one does it every time. Alright, so we have a good start. So we'll come down here, turn off the igniter, turn on the fuel autopilot trim, pressurization, pitot stall warning light is on. And we'll get the environment set up. So that's working. Do takeoff flaps right here. And before I forget, we'll go to transponder, we'll squawk altitude. Do a emergency light test. Come here, we'll do taxi lights on. Don't need any icing. Don't need terrain. I do need inert separator on for ground. Okay. I just need the airport. It's runway 3. Idaho Falls traffic, Epic 139, taxiing to runway 3 from midfield, Idaho Falls. Alright, so I got my track IR working. break off. Let's put it in the beta mode. See, the beta is right here. You have to toggle a button for beta. It's looking for the Delta taxiway. It's right there. Okay. So then when we get to the end of the taxiway, we'll use our landline and let Salt Lake know that we are ready for departure. And they will give us our release time. It's like a time frame that we have to be in contact with Salt Lake Center. Otherwise, we need to call them back with our intentions. So, you know, we still got the field locked down because of us, because we're special. And then we'll get our clearance to get out of here. And this is this be a left. We're going to do an extended left downwind. I'm going to put up this put up the VOR so I have the DME there. Because we're going to use nav2. Let's get our weather.
Idaho Falls Recall Information November 1900 Zulu weather. Wind 340 at 13, visibility more than 10. Sky conditions 10,000 overcast, 32,000 overcast, temperature 1, dew point minus 12.
340.
Altimeter 2974. Arriving runways 0235, departing runways 2017. Advise on.
So the runways that they're using are not accurate runway numbers, but it's only using the airport data that came with this payware scenery that I'm using. So it's not like an X-plane default scenery that automatically updates every time the airport changes, or at least on the gateway. So I've actually wrote to the developers of this months ago to let them know that the runways are wrong. And I never heard anything back from them. Surprise, surprise. Why would anybody put out an update once they've already been paid, unless you're Mr. X? You know, developers like him will always have my my wallet because they take care of their customers. Like he's doing the airport I'm going to, it's being updated right now with new winter textures and wet textures, like wet pavement and stuff. It's going to be really cool. Let's go back to our landline, and we will let them know that we are ready. Salt Lake Center, Epic 1399er, number 1, runway 3, ready for departure.
TBM 1399er, Salt Lake Center, roger. Release for departure. Clearance void if not off by 2025 Zulu. Time now 2018. If not off by 2025, call back with your intentions. No later than 2030. Frequency change approved.
If not off by 2030, advised. Frequency change approved. Epic, I'm an Epic 1399. Alright, so let's go back to CTAF and then we'll put in the departure, which is Salt Lake 13325. Because what I just did right there was simulating talking on a cellular phone. 13325. Idaho Falls traffic, Epic 139, taking off runway 3 for a left downwind departure, climbing in pattern, Idaho Falls traffic. Alright, so we got that. Brake off, landing lights, strobes are on. Beta's off, lights are on, winds are off my left side, so we'll put the ailerons into it, expect right rudder for takeoff. Add in some power. $70 knots. 90, and we're taking off. Gear up, flaps out. Alright, start a left downwind departure here. And then we have to climb to 7,000. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to keep going straight. And then we cross over. Otherwise, I'm going to go right back to the Idaho Falls VOR. Cross over it. That'd be the easiest thing to do. As long as I'm at 7,000 feet when I do so. Let's reduce the prop. I mean the prop. Alright, there's 7,000, so let's turn direct to the VOR. Do Idaho Falls, direct to, enter that. Go to nav mode. Now we're on GPS. So we'll be going directly back to Idaho Falls to pick up the airway. And Salt Lake 13325. Idaho Falls traffic. Epic 139 passing over the field at 10,000. Last call, Idaho Falls. Okay.
Just make sure you include your call sign when runways are involved. Number 272 Whiskey, the reciprocal of runway 30 is runway 12, so affirmative. So runway 21 right, taxi via Alpha and Echo. Cross runway 12 or 30 at Alpha.
I'll check out your question here in just a second. Afternoon, Salt Lake Center, Epic 1399er 12000 on course. Alright, so let's turn off.
November 1399er Salt Lake departure radar contact for south of Idaho Falls. Altitude checks at 12000. Climb and maintain flight level 230.
Climb maintain flight level 230, Epic 1399. Alright, so 23000. We'll punch that in. We'll vertical speed up to about 2,500 feet per minute until we get to VY speed, and then I'll go to flight level change. RPMs are fine. I'll leave the inert separator on for right now. Can add in some torque. So again says, what do you do if they clear you lower than the MEA? Do you have to hold at the altitude they gave you if they don't clear you for higher before you get to the VOR? So he cleared me, I think I understand what you're saying. So he cleared me at 12,000 as my first altitude, right? That was like, I couldn't go any higher than 12,000. The MEA for this Victor Airway is 7,000 feet. So that's why I noticed as soon as I took off that I was going to make 7,000 feet like real quick. So that's why I went direct to the Idaho Falls VOR and just continued on my way. But let's say he would have cleared me to under the MEA for the direction of flight. Let's say he did 6,000. So then in that case, I don't even know what the ground is for Idaho. I mean, I do. I checked it. It's 4,700. So let's say he said no higher than 6,000, which probably would have just been a mistake. I think they would want you to be en route. But if it was 6,000, then yes, correct. You would just circle within that safe holding pattern. The holding pattern that you would use to climb to your MEA, you would just stay in that holding pattern. It's 170 knots until you're good to go. But I don't think you'd really run into that, honestly, because I think any first altitude that they do is going to be above the MEA, you would think, for the direction of flight.
Number 272 Whiskey, you crossed runway 21 left. That one you did not get a clearance to cross. You can contact tower when you're ready to go.
So yeah, I just think the 12,000 was higher than the 7,000 for the airway. So this airway is, so this Victor 21, that's the airway that I'm using. So it's 7,000. So, you know, the instruction for the ODP for runway 3 is left turn to IDA and then hold in pattern 019 inbound. So it would have been left turn, left turn, left turn, 019, because this is 020. So basically, you just go into this pattern hold. But I was at like 6,000 by the time I got here. So instead of making that downwind, I just made an extended upwind, made a turn, and went right back to the VOR because I was above 7,000 by the time I got back to it. So if I was in like a little Cessna or something, then I would have had to have gone in this holding
Los Angeles Center 124.62
until the MEA for the airway is 7,000.
Whiskey Tri-Cities Tower South departure approved runway 21 right, cleared for takeoff wind 250 at 7.
It happened a few times to you with Brandon. I just try to check in quick and he clears me higher. I don't like, they probably don't, it's maybe not a habit for the guys to
yeah, 612
to look at the stuff.
Roger, 1 right's just fine. Runway 1 right, taxi via Alpha, Lima, and Mike.
It's probably not a habit of theirs to look at the MEA, maybe. I don't know. I don't want to speak for the controllers, but if they give you an initial altitude that is lower than your MEA, then I would just call them out on it, actually. I would just ask them, is it okay if I would just say, hey, my MEA for this Victor is 7,000. Can you give me, 7,000 as my initial altitude, so that way I can move on forward. So I don't think that would be, a bad thing to ask them for higher before you even take off. Like, why do it when you're in the air? I mean, at least that's the way I would handle it. I would just ask them. Let's get rid of that one. I'll do Bird 1, localizer. The reason I use the Epic for my TBM flights for FS Economy is it's a lot faster than the TBM, and I can readjust the weights once I add the passengers. The TBM locks it out. It knows it's using FS Economy, so when you load the passengers in the Hot Start TBM, it throws all the weight to the back of the plane, so it makes it no longer, the CG is way out of whack, so it flies horribly. So I don't use the TBM for FS Economy, I only use this one. There's a snowstorm at Salt Lake, which is another reason I'm doing this IFR, but alright, so our first waypoint that we're probably gonna have to get a 11,000 at Diane. So see how it's white? You can just hit enter and that will give you a descent profile for Diane. So we got 13 minutes. That's a good idea. Yeah, I mean, no one's ever going to yell at you for, asking a question. I'd rather not run into any obstacles while I'm in a pattern, or just in case I mess up. I'd rather just climb at least to the MEA. So yeah, I would definitely ask. I do a lot of flights in the PC-12. I think that's what you flew with us that one day a few weeks ago. I never look where the weight is, but it feels fine. The PC-12, you just have to, like, after you load FS Economy, I always go back in to if the plane has a load manager like this one does, if you can reset the load, like I re-added the passengers, so I started FS Economy and then I re-added the passengers, and that will make it so where the CG is correct. Same thing with the King Air. The King Air will split up all the fuel tanks
612 cross runway 1
across
left approach area,
all
contact tower
4
ready,
fuel
good flight.
tanks. So you just have to be aware of that if you have multiple fuel tanks, it's going to split it. But I can go back in and adjust the weight. FS Economy does not care about weight at all. It only cares about fuel. So you can't add fuel, but you can, in some cases, you can adjust it a little bit, like the flight factor Airbus. When I use that, I load the passengers, or I do FS Economy, and then I look at the fuel that added, and I add 1 kilogram of fuel, and then that will put the fuel weight where it should be, and it doesn't hurt the FS Economy. And then after I do that, then I'll go in and I'll add the passengers and the cargo in the Airbus, and then that way the CG is always right where it should be if the airplane has a load manager. So that's the way I do it. I always start FS Economy and then I readjust the weight. The fuel's fine, because you already do your fuel calculations before that anyway, so. So let's come down here. We'll do flight plan, view, wide, commutative. So about 17 minutes, 9-minute. I don't know why my stream elements is going off this much. Sometimes, let me see my timer. I certainly don't want to spam that. Usually it does it once every 45 minutes, which for me, that timer should only go off once per stream. Let me see if it's changed somehow. The timer's pretty cool. I just started doing that.
Epic 139er, Salt Lake City landing north, altimeter is 2969er, cross bear at and maintain 16,000.
Salt Lake landing north, 2969er, cross bear at and maintain 16,000, Epic 1399. Is bear before? Yeah. So bear 16,000, he said.
612 San Francisco Tower 1340 at 12, runway 1 right, cleared for takeoff.
Let's try the numbers. No, numbers don't do anything. 16,000, enter that. We got 5-minute top of descent. I have already have it plugged in for landing north. I think you said north. Yeah. 29er, 69er. So anyway, this bot interval. Oh, it has it every 30 minutes. Let me change that. It should be 45 minutes. And save. 30 minutes is a little much. I do like the timer though, because I'm going to use the timer for not only advertising the Amazon Prime subscription thing, but I also want to use the timer to let people know when I'm going to be having like DCS events and fly-ins and stuff like that. With the holidays coming up, I'd like to do another GA fly-in with like Abu Ghost and Uginigans and M9 and maybe do another turboprop flight. Everybody fly what they like. PC-12, TBM. I probably would do the King Air personally for the next group flight. Because that was fun. I enjoyed that. It's just I've been so busy lately. I haven't had time to try to schedule another one. But I do want to do it. I enjoyed that. Alright, so Salt Lake is landing north, right? So we need ATIS. I don't know. What's ATIS for Salt Lake is 124.75. 124.75. Three minutes till top of descent.
Altimeter 29er, arriving and departing runways 32, 34 left, 34 right, 35. ILS runway 34 left, runway 34 right, LDA runway 35 approach in use. Simultaneous approaches to parallel runways in use. VFR departures, contact, clearance, delivery, advise on course heading, altitude, and if flight following is requested. Read back all runway assignments and hold board instructions. Advise on initial contact, you have information X-ray. Salt Lake City International Airport, ATIS information X-ray.
612 NorCal departure radar contact. And when you check on departure, make sure you give present altitude with climbing instruction, whether it be climb via or climb and maintain. You should be via to 10,000, correct?
I wish I had a timer.
And 612 Roger, climb and maintain now.
Like this is the timer for top of descent. I wish I could have it here somewhere. That'd be cool. There's no alerts. I mean, the TBM has a timer on the yoke. I don't think this one does. It's got autopilot disconnect and other stuff. So I'm probably gonna have to use some of this icing stuff on the way down. So what do we have here? We have inert separator. We got de-icing boots. We got prop heat, windshield heat. Let's turn that on now. Maybe that will crack the windshield. And yeah, again, that was fun. I want to do that again. So, next waypoint is Teals. It shows right here. That's the waypoint. And then you have hard waypoints. So for me to descend past 16,000 and have the autopilot capture it, I have to basically delete that restraint. It won't descend past it autopilot wise until I just delete it. So maybe I'll have a vertical track here soon. Let's see if that has a VNAV. Which it does. So that should put up. Oh, I need to lower the altitude to 16 and VNAV. Now see how it has VPath? So that will take me down to Cross Bear at 16,000 for the VNAV.
Salt Lake Center, South 865, flight level 340. South 865, Salt Lake Center, roger. Salt Lake landing north, altimeter 2906, 9er cross Nebo at and maintain 15,000. Okay, we'll cross Nebo at 15,000, South 865.
Salt Lake Center, Epic 1399er leaving 230.
Number 1399er, roger.
So yeah, whenever you leave a last assigned altitude, even though it gave me permission to descend, you have to let them know. Unless you descend right away, then you don't have to say you're leaving. Once he clears you to descend, if you descend right then, you don't have to say anything. But if you wait like I did, then you have to let him know. Oh, you know what else was fun again? I don't know if Abugos is around right now, but I flew in that VATSIM event last night out of Boise. That was fun. So as soon as I landed, I always use United 1399 when I'm flying on VATSIM. Not always. If I'm flying my airliners, I do, which is 90% of my VATSIM flying. But anyway, Abugos, for the very first time, flew his first VATSIM event last night. And he heard me land. He was taking off from Boise, or actually, he was doing his flight planning or prepping, cockpit setup and stuff. And he heard me taxiing, and he's like, "Hey, Chase, whatever." I'm like, "Oh, that was cool." First time on there, and I wasn't streaming, so he didn't know I was going to fly. He just recognized my call sign, which is cool. Another added benefit to using the same call sign. $29.69. But yeah, I didn't hear back from him since that, but
Yeah, 612, contact Oakland Center 132.905.
said he was having fun with it. He sent me a message saying that was his first flight on VATSIM. That must have been exciting to have all that traffic when you're not used to it. All right, so I'm gonna, well, once I get to 16,000, then we can delete. I can just hit clear once we get there.
Oakland Center, good afternoon, United 612 is with you through 15,000 for flight level 190.
Got 11 miles to bear.
United 612 Oakland Center, roger, climb and maintain flight level 360.
I'm gonna do an
climb and maintain flight level 360, United
separator
612.
on because of the rain and everything, or snow rather. Because is it snowing right now? It was like super gusty, but it's not right now. It's the wind's 340 at 16, so it's not gusty. F&Os are fun. Yeah, the
contact Salt Lake approach.
Oh, Bugos, how you doing, bud? I was just talking about you. Maybe that's why you said hey. Your ears were ringing. You heard me on PE the other day. Yeah, because I don't always stream at night because I'm tired. I just want to sit down, have a beer, eat my snacks, my evening snacks, and it's just I can't.
November 1399, contact Salt Lake approach 135.5.
Salt Lake approach 135.5, 1399. 13.
Clearance delivery. Advise on course heading, altitude, and if flight following is requested. Read back all runway assignments and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact you have information X-ray.
Salt Lake approach, Epic 1399er, Bear 5, 16,700 for 16,000, current with X-ray. Request ILS 35 approach.
November 139er,
I'm at LDA.
Salt Lake approach,
LDA.
structure altimeter 29600. Say again your request.
29er, 69er, and I'm at the LDA 35 approach for 1399.
Number 1399, roger, thanks, expect that.
Rider. All right, so here we are at 16,000. So I can, oh, it's already, all right, so we're gonna hold at 16,000 for right now. I guess it deletes the, I never thought of that. So it deletes the altitude restrictions after you pass it. That would make sense. So we'll see if he wants me to go down to 11,000 per the charts for Diane, I think it is, but we'll see. Already got the LDA in here. Yeah, that's right. Let's do terrain and weather. You missed it? Oh yeah, it was good. Thanks, bud. No, I was just saying that it was cool. You said, "Hey Chase," during that VATSIM event last night, and it was cool to me because, you know, people are starting to recognize my call sign even when I'm not streaming, and I thought that was really cool that I was, you know, recognizable. But so how did you enjoy that? That was, you said that was your first VATSIM event ever. That's what I was telling the guys, that you were excited because it was your first VATSIM event. I guess you took off from Boise, right? Because I landed there. I landed at Boise. So where did you end up? What were you flying?
Number 1399, you said I maintain 11,000.
You said I maintain 11,000, 1399. All right, so we do 11,000, just like the flight plan says to do. It was great to have so much traffic, that's for sure. Yeah, it's a totally, well, it's not really a totally, I guess it is kind of a totally different experience compared to PilotEdge. I mean, you hear things on VATSIM that you would never hear on PilotEdge. People come to PilotEdge and they pay for a service and they don't do stupid things. So on VATSIM, like the other night, I was flying around Jacksonville, and some young kid was on there because, you know, they don't really have like age stuff. So some little kid was going meow 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 meow, like over and over and over again. I was just like, shut that dude up. So it's just like you hear stuff like that that would never. I mean, they have to find what they call them, supervisors. So you can be a VATSIM supervisor, and only the supervisors can kick people from the network or ban them or whatever. I don't know what the protocols are, but yeah, you'll hear stuff on VATSIM that you would never hear on this network, and it, you know, it adds to it because you never know what to expect. Looks like after Diane would be a heading 160. So 160. So on 8 miles, we'll go to heading mode and change this to the LDA frequency. What, kids? Yeah, there's some guys on VATSIM that you could tell they haven't even passed puberty yet. I mean, their voices haven't even broke. So, I mean, yeah, you'll definitely hear young kids on VATSIM. Nice, no icing going on. That's interesting. It says medium snow, so maybe I'll start getting icing once I get underneath these clouds. Speaking of traffic, Abugos, I'm really considering, it's going to be after I get the Orbix California ortho. I'm going to get both the north and the south, and that's going to be a pretty big purchase for me. But it's probably going to be probably around $60, $70 maybe for both. What is it, like 35 for the San Francisco one? I don't know. Anyway, and then after that, that's when I'm going to plan on getting the global traffic by flight, oh, darn it, what's it called? It's, I've got everything on my laptop right here. Just Flight Traffic Global. They just had a really good update from what I've read. A lot of people are liking it. And the only reason I'm thinking about getting it after I get my new California is because it would make the airports busy, even on PilotEdge, because that's the thing. On PilotEdge, I'm like the lone cowboy flying around, or, you know, taxiing. So I want to get that because it would make the airport more alive. I think that would look cool. The only thing I'm worried about it is like I might turn off the plug-in if the airplanes are like taking off and landing the opposite direction that the PilotEdge is letting them do.
1399, contact approach 125.7.
Salt Lake approach 125.7, 1399. 125.7. Let's go to heading. Salt Lake approach, Epic 1399er 1000.
November 139er, Salt Lake approach, roger. Altimeter 2969er, fly present heading, vectors for the LDA runway 35 approach, and descend and maintain 9,000.
Fly present heading, descend maintain 9,000, vectors for LDA 35 approach 1399. 9,000. And we'll vertical speed down to 9,000, present heading. LDA 35. Bring that up on my charts here. It's funny that it's an LDA 35 because the other, it uses the same frequency for a Cat 3 ILS going the other direction. So this LDA is it's like 6,100 feet at Kern. And then 9,000. You were making lunch, but you were listening. I was overall surprised that everyone was more professional than I expected. Yeah, that's not always the case, but like I had made a comment the other night when I flew up at the Anchorage had a VATSIM event a couple nights ago, and the one guy, I thought he was being, you know, kind of nasty, but then it turned out he was okay. He just couldn't hear me because of the mountains. Kept saying blocked or something like that. But yeah, once you start flying in the Northeast, the tri-state area, Boston, New York City, Philadelphia, that entire New England area, the ATC up there is just awesome. And the other thing is, here, let me get you a website for that. These guys are one of the few that actually post their whoops.
Southwest 865, contact Salt Lake City approach 128.1.
They post preferred routes, and that's not it. Let me get you this. They post their schedule to when they're going to be online. I think I found it. This is their brand new website for Boston. So go to this link, and then at the bottom you'll see ATC timetable.
Salt Lake approach Southwest 865, flight level 200, descending across Nebo 15,000.
So if you go there, you can get their timetable.
Salt Lake approach, roger. Send via the Quinn 5 Bravo, expect Dallas 34 right.
Send via the Quinn 5, we'll expect Dallas 34 right, Southwest 865.
So what is this, 35? I need 118.3 for a tower. Anyway, so that link gives you their new website. So Boston is on just like all the time.
1399, turn left heading 060.
Left turn heading 060, 1399.
Got corrections for November 1399, descend and maintain 7,000.
Descend and maintain 7,000, 1399er. So yeah, click on their timetable. So they don't have anyone controlling today. That doesn't mean they won't be on, but a lot of times they'll actually post on the timetable when they control the Boston area. And the other thing you want to look at is
6 miles from Kern, fly heading 010, maintain 7,000 till establishing a localizer, cleared LDA runway 35 approach.
010, maintain 7,000 till established on the localizer, cleared LDA 35 approach 1399. Yeah, so that would be 344. Prop's full. Arm approach. And we got the glide slope. And here's the other thing I want to show you. This is called preferred routes. So this is a very good tool for flight planning on VATSIM around the Boston, New York area. They would rather you use these routing than anything you find elsewhere. So for routing just around the New England area, use that website. And Ginnigan says VATSIM for the most part is good as far as professionalism. Yeah, they pretty much jump on you if you're not doing things, you know, if you're not being professional. Even the pilots, they'll kick you. And the controllers are not allowed to be jerks either, you know, so it's overall a really good setup. All right, let's do gear down. Minimums is 4474. Let's check in icing. There's no icing, so we're good there. Four 474 and the ground is 42. So that's 300, 44. So we need to see the runway at basically 4,400 MSL. If we don't see it, we need to go around. And our missed approach, which would be climbing to 48, then to 9,000. So I can already see some. I already see the ground. We'll be all right. Looks like a little bit of a left crosswind. Salt Lake approach. Should I switch to tower? 1399.
1399 affirmative, contact tower. 118.3.
Salt Lake Tower, 1399er, LDA 35.
1399er, Salt Lake Tower, 1835, clear land.
35, clear land, 1399er. Alright, came down to minimums. Jeez, I had it in the last bit of flaps and it ballooned me. This airplane is so touchy.
65, contact approach 125.7.
Alright, flaps out.
Southwest 865, Salt Lake approach after play, cleared ILS 34 at approach. River 1399, taxi via Kilo to the ramp, monitor ground point 9.
Kilo to the ramp, ground point 9, 1399. Alright, that's 21.9. Broke out right at minimums, that's for sure. And let's turn off the strobes. Jeez, this thing is, it's really windy here. It's what is it? 16 knots, blowing me around a little bit. Is the inert separator on? Yeah. But yeah, the only thing I did wrong on the flap setting was I added the flaps like right at minimums, so it ballooned me black back up into the clouds. So,
Yakima Tower, good afternoon. November 272 Whiskey, the Socada Trinidad TB20 slant Golf at 10 miles to the south at 4,000 inbound for full stop landing.
it's just gonna look nice once Mr. X
Number
is done with
Whiskey,
the
Yakima Tower, and a
update.
left base, runway 27, clear to land.
Left base for 27, total land, and we have information Delta, November 272 Whiskey.
Alright. Turn off all that. Yeah, we'll do. Fuel cutoff. And we'll come to PilotEdge and we'll
Disconnected.
disconnect. I already got the credit for FS Economy on that. And Nabucco says, let me see what I missed here. Just got the Kodiak. Looking forward to flying it. Oh, I'm going to read the rest of what you wrote, but I have something to say about that. I got something to say about everything, don't I? So let's turn that off. I'll turn off these things. Push that thing off. Open the door. And I'll reset the weight. door. See, it ballooned. So I added in the rest of the flaps. This plane, I need to add in a curve. It's so sensitive at the lower speeds. It's cool. I actually added in the wheel chirp sound. Yeah, it has the wheel chirp sound even on the replay. That's cool. It's pretty cool. So we landed in the snowstorm. All right. I've heard it's pretty good for FS economy. It's slow. Just ask for contact approach right at the last second. Snow on the runway looks great. Yeah, it does. And once Mr. X comes out with his updated Salt Lake, it's going to look even better because he's actually adding in the winter textures. So all of this will have like snow on it once I get that updated, or once he updates it. But anyway, the Kodiak. So I've owned the Kodiak for a very long time, and I just downloaded it again last night because there's that big update on it where it adds the I think the G1000, right? So I'm like, okay. So I've owned it. I've had it a long time. I just didn't like the way it flew. For a turboprop, it's very slow, but for very short flights or doing bush flying, I think it might be good. So the Caribbean sceneries, what's it called? The TNCM or whatever, the Prince Julian, I think. I can't remember the name of it exactly, but that's on sale right now for like $11. So if you have those sceneries, the Caribbean ones, I'm going to fly the Kodiak this evening around that area to check out, because it was on sale, so I figured I'd go ahead and buy it if you wanted to fly with me, because I'm going to use the Kodiak to see what it how it flies now, but I'm probably not going to stream it until I know how to fly it really. But if you want to fly that later on, I can let you know when, unless you have plans for this evening. But what is the name? It's TNCM, I think. Prince something, right? St. Thomas? TNCM. Princess Julian, TNCM. It's St. Martin. Princess Juliana International. So what I've usually have done, I would fly my Airbus into there and then do like a little flight. But the little island opposite of it was on sale, so now I have both. So I'm curious, do you have the St. Martin scenery? You had a phone call. It's okay. Do you have the St. Martin Princess Juliana scenery? It's on sale right now. So I have had that one, but it's all been updated. And then the other one, see if I can find it. It's TNCM. And then this is the part 2. So this is the one that was for $11, TFFJ. It's the part 2 of the entire Caribbean package. So this one's actually $13.50. So I'm going to be flying between these two sceneries in the Quest this evening. So that's the first one that's on sale. And oops. Oh, I just wiped out the entire windows, or all my windows just disappeared. I'm having to start over. That looks like a pretty good. Oh, the scenery's awesome. I'm telling you. And this is part 2 of that. So, and they're like pretty much right across the street from each other. Like, let me see. Let me bring up this TNCM, or maybe it's N. M. And then the TFFJ. So they're 17 miles apart, so you get both of these. So what I do is I take off in my Airbus just to make it worthwhile, and I land at Princess Juliana. But I take off from, I do it on VATSIM even though there's never any controllers on. But I take off from San Juan, Puerto Rico. Is it Puerto Rico? San Juan? Let me bring up my charts again. I'll tell you which airport I take off from. So I use the Airbus and I fly from TJSJ. That's where it is. TJSJ. Of course, I have it backwards, but I take off from San Juan. What country is, I cannot, is that Puerto Rico? Anyway, I take off from there and then I land in the Airbus. It's a short flight. And then when I get there, I'm going to use the Kodiak and check out the new one that was on sale for $11. So I'm just going to land, change planes, and go to here. It's super nice scenery. Very, very colorful, and you're probably not going to be buying any add-ons until MSFS comes out. Yeah, that's for sure. I just didn't like, I had the first part. I have the Julian International, and then this one's on sale, so I'm like, well, I might as well get that. That way I have the whole thing. But it's really, so you have the St. Barth. This is that one that has like that crazy runway where you have to come down a hill. I can't find a picture of the hill, but yeah, so But yeah, I don't blame you for not wanting to buy any of that stuff. But I'm going to be checking out the Quest Kodiak tonight between those places to check it out. So I'll just give you a report to let you know what I think of it. And when I do stream the Quest Kodiak, it will be a bush flight around Washington State, around Darrington. So when I do that, since you bought the Quest, how about we do another group flight and we'll do it a bush flight, and I'll see if Ginnigans and M9 and anybody else wants to join in. So we'll schedule a bush flight around the Washington and Darrington and Payne Field and all that, and we'll use the Quests or whatever. You can use whatever, I don't care. But yeah, we'll figure out a bush flight, and then we can use PilotEdge. Well, actually, you don't have. We can use VATSIM and use Unicom to do the pattern work. Since you guys you don't think you have the Western expansion, so we'll just use VATSIM. And now that 122.8 can be used as a CTAF. But yeah, we'll work out a day to do some bush flying. That'd be fun. And you really can't see anything. It's totally snow blizzard in here. All right. I'm calling that a day. Let's see what Salt Lake Ground. I'll do some Salt Lake Ground streaming while I get this shut down. I'm gonna check out the island. Oh, you know what? I might stream that, but I might do it another day. I don't know. Anyway, talk to y'all later. Enjoy the rest of your, well, it's not even a weekend. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. See you guys. Chase out.
Let's go 3722 on the left gate, Fox 18.
3722, solid ground, taxi view Bravo Echo Spot 8.
Bravo Echo Spot 8, Scott 3722. Ground Sky West 5800 at Fox 5 with Sierra ready for push de-ice.
Ashford 7727, ahead left at Hotel 10, give way to a Southwest 737. Scott 5800, solid ground, push back your discretion, remain off of Hotel, and are you positive or negative on de-ice?
We'll push, and yes, we are de-ice at 5800.
Scott 5800, expect Lima pad for de-ice and runway 34 right for departure.
Roger.
Ground South 201, we're clear Hotel 10 for Fox 15.
Southwest 201, solid ground, taxi via Hotel to the right.
Hotel to the right, South 201. 201 on the ground.
Conquest 125 Delta, solid ground, taxi via Kilo to the right. Tacker will be the last one all the way down to the south end. Conquest 125 Delta, you'll see Kilo will sort of jog to the right in the vicinity of Kilo 3. Atlantic will be there, but then Tacker will be the next one to the south.